Welcome everyone to Not That Media. My name is John, and in this series of videos I will be giving 31 film recommendations across 31 days. I'll be giving brief, spoiler-free synopsis and highlighting a particular scene that has made this one of my personal favourite films to watch in October. There will be something funny, something spooky. It won't always be Halloween, but there will be certainly some scary stuff in there. So come along with me as I count down my 31 days of Halloween. 2003's horror crossover, Freddy vs. Jason, was history in the making. Nightmare on Elm Street's Freddy Krueger and Friday the 13th's Jason Voorhees would come together in one film to answer that question that had been eking at fans for decades. Who would win in a fight? Not since the 1940s and the Universal monsters crossing paths had horror fans had the opportunity to take two of their favourite titans of terror and duel them out together to find out definitively who would win. We join Freddy Krueger at the beginning of Freddy vs. Jason, stuck in hell and powerless. As a result, at some point prior to the movie, the people of Elm Street working out that if you suppress the history of Freddy Krueger and drug the children of those who remember him into forgetting him, Freddy Krueger has no power and cannot invade the dreamscape. But luckily, Freddy has finally worked out a plan. He's going to utilise Jason Voorhees unknowingly by posing as his mother, Mrs. Voorhees, and telling Jason to rise from the grave because he is not dead, he's just sleeping, and go to Elm Street and make them remember what fear tastes like by butchering the kids of Elm Street. The logic being that the police and the local people would assume that it was Freddy Krueger returning to the dreamscape, and as a result the fear and the panic of Freddy's name would return, as a result empowering Freddy Krueger to return and exact his revenge even more on the people of Elm Street. The problem is, Freddy's plan works a little too well, and Jason, like the big stupid dog Freddy sees him to be, can't stop killing. He starts killing people left, right and centre. So, as a result of this, every time Freddy tries to kill somebody, Jason gets there first. As Freddy and Jason begin to duke it out and become no longer friends and adversaries, not that they ever were friends of course, there's a group of teenagers stuck in between trying to solve the mystery and trying to work out how can you stay awake and asleep and stay safe. Because if you fall asleep, Freddy will get you, and if you stay awake, chances are Jason's going to track you down. So, with that being said, place your bets, because who's going to win in Freddy vs. Jason? Whilst I would totally understand people's opinions that Freddy vs. Jason is in no way a Halloween film, I don't disagree with that remark, but I do think it's a really good film on the road to Halloween. It's definitely not a film I would watch at Halloween, but if you're doing 31 days or you want to follow along with me, for me, I think this is the kind of film to really get you in the mood for the build, the event. It's on the road to Halloween. Let's just get something on. They don't always have to be a sit down and watch in silence and react, appropriately at a real good scare. Sometimes you just want an event film, particularly if you're having a bit of a gathering, getting a few friends round, getting the beers flowing, the curtains get closed, let's put on something, or if you want to have something on in the background that you don't necessarily have to pay too much attention to and is so lightweight that you can just sit there and enjoy it, Freddy vs. Jason has got your back. It is faithful to both chronologies in terms of Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th, but is also a great entry-level film. If you've never seen Freddy Krueger, if you've never seen Friday the 13th, don't worry about it. This film's got your back. And I'm going to argue, arguably controversially, that I think that Robert Englund's portrayal of Freddy Krueger in Freddy vs. Jason and the iteration of Jason we meet in this film are the very best versions. This is Robert Englund at his best. It's still he is scary again, he is still funny, he's still one-linering, and Jason is the powerhouse that we always imagine him to be. So as part of this video series, I have to decide on one scene that perfectly encapsulates this movie. So if you're a newbie, if you've never heard of this film, or you want to follow along the 31 days of Halloween, what's the one scene to give you an idea of what's going on? And of course, in a film like Freddy vs. Jason, I don't think it's a spoiler to tell you that Freddy and Jason fight, but this scene for me is particularly special because whilst Freddy and Jason do have interactions and a little bit of a fight earlier in the film, this is the moment at the end of the movie when Freddy is brought into the real world by the humans and comes toe to toe with Jason Voorhees. This is the proper prize moment. This is the WWE Undertaker versus Kane moment, the boxing match where Jason walks into one side of the screen, Freddy into the other. There is fire everywhere, there is music blasting, the machete comes up and swings at Freddy, he swerves out of the way and starts to attack Jason, and bang, the two go on to fight for the rest of the film. It is a fantastic moment. It is horror history. It is something really cool if you're having a party, or if you've got a group of friends around who've never seen it. Stick that thing on. To me, it is the best iteration of Freddy Krueger we've ever had. It is one of the best iterations of Jason Voorhees. Robert Englund is flying on all cylinders. You can tell he loves what he's doing. Having played Freddy for 8 movies, he goes out with a bang in Freddy vs. Jason. Whether you're a fan of the human element is really irrelevant when it comes to this point in the film. All we want to see is Freddy and Jason eviscerate each other, go at each other, and boy, as soon as that fight starts, it is on. So that one moment is about 45 seconds for me, is exactly why I want this on my list of 31 days of Halloween. It's event, it's fun, you watch it early in the month, it starts to get you in the mood, the horror train has started. Let's get on to films later that will be much more Halloween orientated, but just to kind of get you in that horror mood, that level of excitement, you can't go wrong with Freddy vs. Jason. Strong recommend. So with that being said, until next time, stay scared.
Taken everything from us, he has ruined both of our pasts. And I am not leaving until I see him die.